We are live, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, welcome back to another edition of the Link Up Podcast with your host, Mr. King, Kana, Rashid, and Woods here in the building. No
Yo,
Calissa here, she's a little busy doing some stuff, so couldn't be here, but we're gonna carry on with the episodes, giving you all the content and whatnot. So, carrying on with our
Plugs.
our theme of themes. Yeah,
Plug.
I'm getting there, but
Oh, sorry.
before I get into the diving all the way into the plug and passing it off to, I believe Woods is responsible for the theme of the episode today, so we can get there in a second. But before that, I want y'all to make sure to like and subscribe to the podcast. If you haven't already, that's the YouTube page. Make sure to follow us on Instagram as well as Facebook to stay up to date with every new episode. We post short clips and stuff on the Facebook page as well as the YouTube page. We post longer clips on the YouTube page as well. So if you wasn't aware, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube so you could be aware of all of those little clips in between. And then as well, we have plugs. I'm gonna just get mine out of the way one time. Make sure to stream the Mistuh King LP. It supports me, which in turn helps to support the show and all of that. And it's my album. It's out on all streaming services wherever you want. You can also buy it on Google Play, Amazon Music Store. I forgot the name of it right now, and you can stream it on all streaming platforms. So yeah, make sure to get that or stream it, and I'm gonna pass it off to whoever else has plugs, and then we can get to Woods to go into the themes.
Well, might as well think with Woods. I think Woods is the only plug left.
so for those that don't know, on the 24th, and that's probably on the day that this episode is out, my first single will be out on all streaming services. It's called Squirtle. It's a Caribbean slash dancehall slash reggaeton ish type of beat. It's just a Caribbean beat basically. Um, and yeah, it's my little baby. It's coming out. Very excited. And I'm waiting. I'm counting the days for it to come out. But basically, at the end of this episode, you're going to hear a little snippet of it, or the whole song. We don't know yet. And let me know what you think about it.
I mean, by the time this airs, it should be out. So it's like either they'll hear it at the end of this, or maybe they might have heard it before on
Yeah.
Facebook or something. But like we said on the last episode, or someone of them, it's all produced, mixed, mastered, engineered, all of that by our very own Woods and whatnot. So just trying to give the people the full gist of what all going on with that. But I mean, Woods, you could take it away and introing us into tonight's theme.
So for tonight's theme, we're going to talk about cancel culture. And what is cancel culture really? Well, it's a way to express your opinion about something that someone did or a company did or whatever. It could be. It's quite broad in the way they use cancel culture, but it's basically you're disagreeing with something that someone else or a company did, and you're trying to cancel the company slash person for what they have done. And in the beginning, it was quite easy to understand what cancel culture was because it really started with the companies that had allegations against women. That's where it started. That were mistreating women. So you could say cancel culture started also with the Me Too movement. They started kind of hand in hand, and it really blew up from there. In my opinion, at least, because cancel culture always was prevalent, but not to the point that it is now.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah.
Prevalent well.
Yeah,
Where would you be?
like it always somewhat existed. Like if
We've
you
all done. Cancel your
Whoa,
plans, you cancel your
whoa,
subscription.
whoa. My bad.
All right, then.
well, um, on Twitter it was always active. Like if you frequent on Twitter, like it was always somewhat there, but it wasn't the movement that it is now. It wasn't as influential as it is now, I would say. Like,
Would you want official dictionary.com definition?
yeah.
That's where that sound came from just now, by the way, because I was on this website. Cancel culture refers to the popular practice of withdrawing support for, quote unquote, canceling public figures and companies after they have done or said something considered considered offensive. My bad. Cancel culture is generally discussed as being performed on social media in a form of group shaming.
Yeah,
Shame.
sounds pretty accurate to describe what we see happening in the real world and whatnot.
Shame.
Shaming too?
I mean,
all things I don't find at least.
To me, that's usually that's where it starts out, and then you get canceled. You're canceled for you offend us, therefore you're shamed, and then you get canceled. They all kind of
how dare you
steps of the canceling process.
Yeah, it's like, how dare you even come back to this platform knowing what you did? So then that's where the shaming starts. It's like, you should be ashamed of even trying to come back into the, for example, the community. Like, if, for example, because this is where I pull cancel culture from, because I'm a gamer. For those that don't know, I play a lot of games. I'm really into a certain community, specifically the Smash Bros. Community. And recently, there was a lot of allegations that came out because of the climate, and people just feel more comfortable coming out now. And a lot of Smash Brothers players got basically what we call this cancel culture.
Exposed. And so, but exposed for what? I guess being racist online and
it goes from sleeping with underage kids, so 17.
So this is like real stuff. I thought it was getting cancelled for gamer related stuff, being mad offense online in the chats and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's the thing with, so to put it in perspective, the thing with Smash Bros. Is like, you have people that used to play from Melee days all the way up to the recent game. So now you have multiple generations of people going to similar tournaments and stuff like that, and there's not really an age curation. So you have young kids with older guys, my age, your age, mingling with one another, and that's just a cesspool for nastiness to eventually.
It's a breeding ground for predators, essentially.
Yeah, basically.
But I have a question though. Like, what led you specifically to the decision to choose this? Like, why cancel culture now?
Why cancel culture now? Because every day I go on Twitter, that is the only thing that comes up next to Black Lives Matter. Like, it's legit been, who are we canceling today? That's legit. It was every day was okay. What episode of cancel culture am I going to see today? It went from Nick Cannon. They try to cancel. Okay, they try to cancel Trump every day, but it doesn't really work with him. They've just been canceling a bunch of people in my
can't cancel somebody that's been elected into office.
I mean, they tried. That was the whole impeachment process.
Canceling an exactly. I was just gonna say canceling an elected official is impeaching them. That's how you cancel the president.
Yeah, but he was okay. Now, I would consider. Would that be considered if he was actually removed?
Yeah, I mean the impeachment process. Starting the impeachment process is like saying you want to cancel him. Whether you actually succeed in the cancellation, to me, that is whether he's removed.
Like the end of it. So like if we had to go through the process where you were stating there earlier, wouldn't the actual impeachment be like the shaming part?
No, because you get shamed.
How you mean? So you wait. You mean to tell me he's only one of two presidents in the world, or one of the three presidents that ever been impeached? Period in history.
There's egregious offense committed, and then you lead into impeachment. So I kind of see the impeachment self as the cancellation, because like even when you look at online canceling, when it gets to the point of cancellation, Kevin Hart still rich. Kevin Hart been cancelled. Mad people been cancelled, and all these people still out here with careers and doing successful things out there. So it's like, yeah, people say they cancel, and we declare that somebody is canceled now. But how often does it actually result in this person anything being stopped about
Yeah.
this?
Like,
Yeah, maybe you might lose your one job, but it's like you didn't stop living.
1 second.
They don't leave me.
Who talking?
An ad just came out, man. I can't help it.
I just saying they don't leave me. But so okay, can we say 50 Cent cancel Ja Rule?
I mean,
No, Ja Rule canceled Ja Rule. 50
how
Cent just...
Ja Rule cancel Ja Rule?
Yo,
Yeah.
Ja Rule was fine until he did the damn fucking island thing. That's... Look...
No,
you
no,
went-
he wasn't. No.
No. You have to look at it like this. 50 Cent won the beef between the both of them. True. But he didn't cancel him. The moment I started to laugh when I heard Ja Rule's voice was... No, his name was after the whole island debacle that people got trapped and he was...
You mean the
one of
Fire
main-
Festival?
Yeah.
Fire Festival.
After that, that's when Ja Rule had cancelled. Prior to that, like, if you would bring up the beef, I would say, yeah,
And even
50 Cent.
Is he cancelled?
I mean,
Ja Rule still out here making money, got
making
some new
mad
show
money.
coming out,
Yeah.
doing gyro commercials and
he's,
shit.
he's
Like,
making money. I'm not saying he's not making money. What I'm saying is, for
like I just mean like he's cancelled it like on a personal level. Like for
Yeah,
you
like,
personally, on an individual
I still
scale.
rock his
But
music though, but like I don't
Okay.
look at him the same way anymore. You understand what I'm saying? Like the
could we get to
respect-
that?
the respect-
Question though? I know it might be early in the debate before we get into any specific instances of cancel culture, but is cancel culture even a thing? Can we get to that answer?
Yes, it is.
Like,
Okay. I'll mention names of people that successfully got cancelled, and see if you agree with it.
one person I maybe could think of is what's her name? The one who had the show.
R. Kelly.
Roseanne.
No, R.
R.
Kelly
Kelly.
got cancelled.
He got cancelled. I believe he got cancelled.
I believe that.
Yo, if you play R. Kelly in the club, people look at you weird.
The radio plays R. Kelly.
The not playlist. He's not on any playlist anymore.
Okay.
On any streaming services. No, I'm just saying, like that's where the artists get most of their plays, or being on those playlists. I'm just
And I
saying.
mean, if you can't
When
get
when your song's still in rotation on mass radio stations, that counts for a decent amount of
Yeah, that's
royalties and
true,
stuff
but
like
a
that.
lot
as
of
well.
radio stations are not playing his songs either. It's not just streaming
I mean,
services.
we can't expect everybody to
Yeah,
not.
but the
But on
you used to
majority-
get way more money than what he's getting now.
Yeah, he in jail.
Yeah, that's true. But
Hey,
the state,
Arrested or
his estate
something.
used to generate more money than what it
if
generates now.
it's one person that proved to us being in jail don't mean shit is Vibes Cartel, okay?
Hmm.
So that
R. Kelly ain't Vibes Cartel. R. Kelly
Okay,
was
but-
cancelled in jail. Vibes
Question
Cartel
on-
still
question.
making music.
Question on that one, Woods. Before we move on to the next one, when do you consider R. Kelly being cancelled? When was the cancellation, in your opinion?
The cancellation happened when
The arrest? The documentary?
No. When major corporations start bending backwards to appease the actual people that are telling these corporations to somewhat deplatform the artist, and when they comply with the demands, then they won. Because that's how I see it. The people making the demands, if they get what they ask for, they win. Because that's it. It's the people that demand action, and if they get it, they won. That's basically.
And that's kind of why I asked. Like, at what point was it the arrest or?
No, that's just him doing his bad shit. Like people
But-
that get canceled.
Yeah, but he did his bad shit 20 years ago, and he been free ever since.
no, it wasn't. But that was some of his bad shit. He was still continuing doing.
I understand, but we knew this nigga needed to be cancelled 20 years ago. That's the point I'm making. I'm not saying that was the only one.
Yeah, but
The documentary that canceled it.
yeah, but
Because everybody knew. Okay, let me say it was a how to phrase it, for lack of a better term, an open secret that people knew about Aaliyah. people knew about R. Kelly in general, but I think it got to when the documentary came out, you saw the amount and how serious it actually was. Then people started like, okay, I didn't know it was like that. 'Cause I was one of those. I used to always hear the jokes and the peeing and all that kind of thing. But then when I actually sit down and watch the documentary and hear how many women, and to the extent, I was like, boy, that okay.
You have to also keep in mind this is not just an R. Kelly thing. Back in that time period, those type of things would come out, but there wouldn't be any action towards it because there wasn't really a way for people to gather in mass like there is now.
Listen,
Social
there is
media
one
does
thing.
that.
There is, if you're talking about Aaliyah, I agree. But then the world saw the world saw the P tape.
Yeah,
Whether people want to admit that they watched it or not,
No,
because
but
it's technically a crime
King,
and stuff, so I get it. But like the world saw the P tape.
yes, yeah, that's true. But again, you have to keep the context of the time that the P tape came out.
We might not have been
didn't
able
come-
to cancel in the form of
Yes,
social
yes,
media because
yes.
cancel culture in its current form, it's a phenomenon that only exists with social media.
Yeah, but there were
before
certain
you had
exceptions.
but before that you had protests, you had boycotts. All of these things still were forms of voicing your grievances or disagreements with something going on.
Yeah, but you also have
The
to
same
keep
way
in-
there was mad people protesting at R. Kelly's trials when he was during the P-tape situation. People was protesting then. They was trying to cancel him then or expressing their displeasure with what was going on with R.
Yeah, but it's
Kelly at that point.
the difference with that and this is you're not really going to his trial and protesting there, like for these bigger corporations, they're just a fly in the bucket. You understand? If the masses ain't seeing, or if it's not a large amount of people acting into something, then they're not gonna act upon it. There people did try and protest, but it wasn't to the mass that it is now with
So-
online media and stuff. It plays a role.
Since we going labeling, not labeling, but like somewhat getting like definitions out there. Do you guys find there's a official? Okay, obviously there can't be an official number, but do you have a general number that is like, okay, if like for instance, if 1,500 people say like fuck R. Kelly, then R. Kelly cancelled.
Hmm.
Y'all have a feeling about that? Is there a number?
It's not really a petition.
I don't think it's I don't think it's a general number. It really just depends on for example, what is the goal that you're trying to achieve with your demands as part of the cancel tribe. Let's just call them the cancel tribe. If it's a person that's in a high position, then you're going to need to be quite a large group to be able to get some change.
And it depends on the person and the offense,
Yeah,
as well as the
that's it.
demands, like you said. Like, well,
Yeah.
what type of, do we want this person fired? Do we want them deplatformed, banned? Like, do you want them to, like, what do we want?
There's a lot of variables. Another example, Jesse Smollett.
Was in your opinion he was cancelled?
I kind of agree with that.
He was removed from the show. Yeah.
Yeah. Technically,
That was their demand, basically.
I guess.
I mean, have you seen him in anything else since then?
A lot
I
of
mean, that was
controversy.
the one thing that he was in. So it's like
every time I see his name come up is because of the whole situation to begin with.
Yo,
There's more information coming out of that situation.
Mm-hmm.
So
So like last month, like he was going back to trial, he was going back to court or
yeah.
something like that. But every time I hear Jesse Smollett, I just think of Nigerian twins. I don't know why. I mean, I know why, but like I don't know why that's the first thing.
I mean, I thought of his name when people was talking about the NASCAR driver who found the news type of thing. Like, there were some mentions of his name in those conversations as well. And like some people being speculative or like suspicious of it, to be like, is this another hoax just like Jussie Smollett type of thing?
What's the next example, Woods?
The next example, Yeah, I don't know if you guys know this guy, man. That's the thing.
We may not know him, but if the listeners might know.
Ryan Adams.
Yeah, nope.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know.
Diane, wait, Ryan or Brian? The Diane a singer or
Ryan? He's a rock star.
I know the name. I know nothing about him personally though.
An American singer, songwriter, record, producer, poet. Yeah, 16 albums.
Yeah, he's a
A country guy.
Paula, it looks like
When you
rock.
say rock star, but he okay, I don't know.
He's a rock star.
That-
Okay, let's go to the next one. This one we all know. This one is kind of controversial because Michael Jackson.
Nah, Michael
Nah.
Jackson cancelled.
Nah.
Nah.
To me, the one of the determining things is like an overwhelming majority. I feel like, cause like to kind of get to Kana question about like is there a number? To me, it's just more of like an overwhelming majority type of thing. Is there a general? There's never like a actual consensus, but what do most people generally feel about the situation?
And I feel King is right with Michael Jackson. A lot of people like you could say it was split both ways. A lot
They
of
tried,
people,
but it's like nah, people don't believe that.
tried.
They tried to get us to not fuck with him, but I feel like people just don't believe it, and
You
there's
know?
mad holes in their stories.
You know who really got cancelled? Like legit. Like you can't even argue this. Kevin Spacey.
This dude wasn't like
He was the star in the Netflix
House of
Netflix-
Cards.
I understand,
Yeah.
but my thing is, according to me, like this dude was just chilling with the princes and the royals and whatnot. It's like I don't like, cause to me, like when I think on cancel, I just be like, yes, is this so? People said they didn't like me, but that like it ain't stop nothing this man doing when you over there.
Cancel culture is a fad, Chad.
I mean, the thing is he's not working in his profession anymore.
The man is a millionaire and he's still chilling with the royal
Yeah,
family in
I feel like
England.
you can't take away his millions. Like, here's the thing with that. So I get what you're saying, King, and I agree. Like, but
And there's mad people who
we're not defending either side. We're just bringing up the fact that they had demands and they got what they wanted. They didn't say make the man poor. They just said, "Yo, you did this. It's fucked up. We don't feel like you should be able to work in the field anymore."
So like I hear what you're saying. I guess my thing is the whole
'Cause what is cancel?
concept. Like I guess the term is yes. They had demands, they got the demands, so I guess according by that metric,
Yeah.
it's cancelled.
'Cause look,
But to me, it's just my only thing is just the validity of what does that really mean. In certain situations, I get that your demands might have more significant impacts on a person's actual everyday life and change their situations.
You have to look at
But
it like this.
With certain people, it's just too late to cancel them. Is the machine already behind them, or like they got people that can still rock with them, so they could still do their thing in other ways?
Yeah, like the thing is, when they're canceling someone, they're not really targeting the person. Mostly they're targeting the organizations that worked with them. So they target Netflix in this case. We're like, yo, like if you're working with him, we're gonna boycott you.
Do
Understand?
you consider some of the brand boycotts also cancellations as well, like with the Gucci and the Louis Vuitton that T.I. was calling for at the point after the blackface things went out from, like, I forget what all brands it was, but them luxury brands.
I mean, if you look at it in terms of the definition, then yes, maybe, but it depends on what, like, context is key, right? Because usually cancel culture is because of
Okay, let's go H&M. The coolest monkey in the jungle, South African stores got completely like trashed and stuff, and then as a result, they hired a whole bunch of African people within that South African stuff. Like they made some changes and things, basically. Yeah. So I would say they kind of got their demands met. When it's like, yo, this is not cool. This coolest in the monkey in the jungle thing is not cool.
I don't know.
It's trashy stores.
I don't know. With H&M, I feel that's more boycott than cancel culture.
But then that's kind of the crux of my question. Like, are boycotts, do we consider those also forms of cancel culture? Because people were calling for, let's cancel H&M. Let's boycott H&M type of thing.
Like I had stated earlier, to me, boycotts is just the traditional way of cancel culture. Cancel culture is just the 2020 version of saying a boycott.
So it's just an
Yeah.
extension more than.
And the thing is more is okay. Let me rephrase that then. Cancel culture. I feel is a watered down version of a boycott.
You think
I
so?
feel you.
That. Oh, what did you hear me? I find cancel culture is a watered down version of a boycott.
So it's boycott light.
Yeah.
Boycott late.
Look at it. Look at it.
Oh,
Cancel.
by the way, we at 26 minutes.
Okay.
Cool.
Cancel. Bye. That's rough. Let me get
And
you.
we ain't even get into nothing yet.
Yeah.
I mean.
We ain't stopping now or nothing, but
Yeah. Let's continue.
With cancel culture, it happened from how we seen it. Other than extreme cases like R. Kelly, they get thing for a while. Some people forget about it. Some people don't. The thing goes away.
that's my thing.
But whereas boycotting, it was like, all right, cool. Everybody not fucking with this thing. We have a reason. We have a goal for it. We're not going back until we get that goal. If we get that goal, we could go back.
Yeah. Here's the
But to
thing,
me,
right?
it is the same thing with digitally, depending on what
Yeah.
you're canceling.
Yeah. 'Cause
Like if
you're
you call for a
internet
cancel on
personality-
6ix9ine, if you call for a cancel on 6ix9ine and nobody streams his music, nobody watches his interviews or something like that, it's effectively a boycott. You're boycotting his music and his nothing he's on that is involved him gonna get views, and we know
Yeah, but
in this day and age money is tied to that. So it's like it's you effectively doing the same thing as a boycott.
You have to
You
look at it-
withholding your attention, you withholding your dollars.
you have to look at it in some type of way that when it comes to cancel culture, they have demands, but they still do attack the person directly. Whereas boycotts, usually, it affects it affects people obviously, but it doesn't affect people mentally the same way that the social media boycotts do.
I can't agree with that.
Boy, you would say that, but with the whole Smash Brothers things, I've seen people contemplating killing themselves. Because when you get daily people,
Boy, you forgetting the CEOs and them ones who was jumping out and killing themselves when once the company started to go under and people ain't fucking with them no more.
yeah, but there's a
And
difference.
you don't
with
think
people that
Bill
is already
Cosby or R.
rich.
Kelly or Kevin Spacey or none of those people might have been feeling that same thing? I'm not saying it's valid or I agree with them feeling it, but I could imagine the amount of shame and death threats and calling for cancellation on these people. You feel like, well, I might kill myself too.
Yeah, when you have a mob of people on the internet attacking you, it's a whole different type of something.
Yo, I could not log in.
You don't have to not log in. They'll get your number. They'll get your address. Like these people, they'll swat you. Like
Yeah.
there's trust me. There is a different mindset, and if you know how the Twitter people work, and specifically
I mean,
Twitter culture,
like the barbs, like when you get into the fan bases of particular celebrities and the ones the celebrity, like I mean, when it was Beyonce and the whole Lemonade situation, all the beehive went looking for who the Becky with the good hair was supposed to be, trolling, like sending this one person a whole bunch of death threats and all kind of thing. Turned out they had the wrong woman because they just assume based on their little context clues this is what.
They follow it, they full of shit.
I don't disagree with you on that point. I don't condone and support the behavior.
But I'm just saying the gravity, the way that they attack people, it's a whole different type of something. It's not how things used to go. But
that's why I say it's a watered down. I consider it a watered down version because with the boycotts, it was for a reason. A lot of I feel at least what
would watered down in that way.
Attack the person, not have no reason for it. It's practically trolling. And then next week you will forget about it, and then you'll go on to somebody else.
If it was that they would just stop in a week, then it would.
Because look exactly what the example King was bringing on before. Look at Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart. So I don't remember him being.
No, but Kevin Hart's situation is different because they tried to cancel him over something that he said 10 years ago.
And they did that to many people.
You can try, but when there's a difference when you did something that's still gray, that's like people can change. So like, yeah, a small amount of people are trying to cancel him, but it's not like a mob. There's a difference when it's someone actually did something that everybody agrees that, yo, this is messed up, and then you have a mob just constantly just attacking.
Okay, all right.
There's a difference.
I got a question. Do we consider what people trying to do Jada the beginning of cancel culture?
No, because they're more fooling than anything else.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, you really think so?
That's your interpretation of what's going on with
You really
Jada?
got people out here calling
No.
and all that kind of
Because
shit, right? Here's accusations now.
Because here's the thing. There's a difference between tomfoolery on the internet and making memes and doing jokes and all of that type of fuck, than specifically going through personal information of people, swatting their houses. Like there's a difference in memeing and making fun of a situation than attacking this person constantly, DMing
And I feel you not understanding the full gravity of what all going on with Jada. Like the type of opinions and the things people calling
people
for,
have
and
opinions, but that's the internet. People are going to have the opinions.
that is what cancel culture is, though, Woods. Like a lot of these people, I feel offended by a certain thing they're weighing on. I get what you're saying, where people have demands. We agreed earlier there was an offense.
What is the demands that they're throwing on Jada? What do they want Jada to do?
Hey, I said it's the beginning of.
No, but that's what I'm saying. There's a cancel culture you have to have demands for that cancel culture to be.
Yeah, don't fuck with Jada no more.
No, but it starts. But that's the demands. They start off with demands. What are they demanding Jada to do?
Don't fuck with Jada and don't watch Red Table Talk.
But, huh?
As well as the assassination of character that goes along with, okay, cool.
The shame
we change our there's a public opinion change about Jada. Jada is now the worst woman in the world, who is a predator, who is taking advantage of a young victim.
Bullshit, by the way.
That is what Alcina was, as well as how now she's cold and a heartless bitch because she just there laughing and giggling in this interview while Will looking so hurt and she don't sound any bit of remorseful and all of these things. This is the conversation around Jada and stuff. You've seen memes and stuff. That is some of it. No. But there's a lot more than that.
No, I've seen that too. But what are they demanding Jada to do? That's what I'm trying to say. Because that's what cancel culture is. Are they trying to cancel Jada?
They don't have
Jada is not allowed to work in movies anymore because we have to keep in mind that cancel culture works usually with a goal at the end of the day. What is the goal that they're trying to achieve?
Not support Jada anymore. Do not support Jada in any which way.
I do think
I've seen the posts, I've seen the tweets, I've seen them things. Everything from canceling Red Table Talk, not fucking with none of her movies no more, even not fucking with Will no more. I've seen some things.
Yeah, how many is there a movement on Twitter that's
why you only focus on Twitter? Cancel culture.
That's where cancel.
It might not maybe where it comes from, Wood, but like a lot of people that got Twitter accounts got like different social medias as well.
I get what you're saying, but there's a specific type of mob.
I say it and then say a but after. Go through it.
Because there's a specific type of way that these people attack people. Because every situation happens. People talk about Kanye West and have their opinions, and they talk about not fucking with his music and stuff like that. But that's not cancel culture in its essence. Because what companies are they attacking to deplatform Jada? Are they going to Sony where they have Jada's movies? No, because that's what I'm trying to say.
It's not just companies. You could withdraw your support from a person too.
No, they can say it, but then not do it. There's a difference.
I think
How many people say they're not going to listen to Kanye West, but then they don't attack the companies that support Kanye? There's a difference. We're just saying something, but then actually attacking the companies that support these people.
We want this one because we have to agree to disagree with this one. We say on this one thing too long. We got any more time? We want to go into the Nick Cannon one. I want to go.
Rashid, wait. Rashid, say what you wanted to say.
I was going to say I was going to say I understand where Wood's coming from, where cancel culture is concerned. Because oftentimes when you talk cancel culture, you're talking about these people essentially attacking the bag of certain people. When you look at the Harvey Weinstein, the stuff he did, when you look at the R. Kelly, the stuff he did, and then when you say the Jada situation is kind of the equivalent to that, like
but I
it's two
feel
different
both,
levels to me.
I feel both are missing what I actually said though. The beginning of, not that she was actually being cancelled. Because like what King was stated in the beginning, it comes with steps, right? Before it's actually cancelled. So it's
Yeah,
not the shaming and all that part of it as well. Is she not being shamed? Because
yeah.
all
Yeah,
you
but
trying to do are you
she's
full of
being
shit.
shamed, but she's not being cancelled. That's what I
Oh
was
my
saying.
god. Okay. Alright, cool.
I
Alright,
get what you're saying, but that's
alright.
no. But Kana, listen, I get what you're saying, but being shamed is part of the internet. People get shamed all the time. You do something stupid, you do something. It's just
Okay.
part of the internet, but it's not. It's not.
Woods,
I
Woods,
get. Yeah, I get what he's saying. I get what he's saying. I just
you're
think
moving
it's.
the goalposts now.
What do you mean?
You're moving the
Oh god.
goalposts
Now but King,
because
Wait.
why you continue it, King?
my I'm just pretty much just to summarize what is going on. What kind of like the man said she's not getting cancelled. It's the beginning stages. Earlier on in the conversation, we established part of the stages of cancellation. One of those stages that was mentioned was shaming. You're addressing that she's being shamed. Kana is saying she's in the beginning stages of being cancelled. There's no dispute here. There's no argument here. Y'all are in agreement. You saying what he is saying.
Yeah, I get that. I get that part. I get what you're saying. Again, but it sounds like what you're saying is saying that people are trying to cancel her. Because if you say that that's the beginning, meaning that their end goal is trying to cancel her, right?
Okay.
Right?
And Kana reported to you as
Um,
well that from some of the tweets and Instagrams, this is what some people are calling for. It might not be widespread across every social media.
But then I
Maybe
said
on
I didn't
Twitter,
see it on Twitter. But then
maybe on
other
Twitter
social
where
media
you're
people are.
looking. All right, then. So, what other examples of cancellation we got? I mean, kind of mention Nick Cannon situation. Like, well, what do y'all feel about the Nick Cannon? Before we even get into whether it's a cancellation thing or not, what do y'all feel about Nick Cannon being removed from Wildin' Out? Or like the Wildin' Out being cancelled, the Viacom cutting severing ties with Nick Cannon. How do y'all feel about that?
Well, if you look the way Twitter responded prior to that reaction, you would understand why Viacom did what Viacom did. Basically, it was a shit show. It was trending for hours, dog. And a lot of people were calling him to get deplatformed, and it actually happened, which is kind of crazy. I didn't expect it to happen, even though he said wild shit, because like he didn't say anything that Kanye West didn't say.
I don't know. I didn't listen to that interview or that segment of the interview properly enough to really think what he said. But from what the articles I had read, it was like, yeah, he had some rough things to say about the Jews, practically saying that the Jews is equal to beast or something like that. I loosely paraphrasing, very loosely paraphrasing.
To me, that was the worst part of this whole situation. Every article that referenced this situation, they refuse to actually quote. It's just a word here, one sentence, and this is an hour and a half because it's like his podcast type of thing. It's a long ass discussion. There's so much that was said, and they were so selective with saying, acknowledging what was said, because some of the apologies he coming out with now, he basically just repeating some of the same shit that he said in the actual interview, where it's like, yo, there is no hate in my heart. I don't mean these things with malice. We're discussing theories. I'm not saying this is fact. I'm referencing some of Minister Farrakhan's rhetoric and some of the things he's saying, and I'm discussing and trying to think. I'm not trying to accuse these people of saying these things. He's discussing some of the teachings that if you pay attention to what the Nation of Islam and Farrakhan be talking about, some of the white man is the devil, they're savage and beast. A lot of that rhetoric and stuff that they quote is like stuff that Farrakhan says. Nick Cannon himself ain't say that, yes, he believes all of these things and it's fact. like it was a discussion where some of it is like I kinda and not sure and discussing like pretty much the same thing where we do if you discussing theories type of thing. That was the conversation,
And
and there were certain things said. Because I watched the whole conversation. What are you gonna say? What?
yeah, I find it funny because like people bend their ass backwards to defend Kanye West, and they say, yeah, but you don't. What he's trying to say is this, and this, and this, but he doesn't know how to
That's a very good point.
articulate it
The
correctly.
difference is Kanye never said shit about the Jews.
I mean,
To be honest, I don't think Kanye got a balls.
I mean,
If he said anything about the Jews in his recent press conferences or rally campaigns, I don't know because I ain't seen that footage. I ain't watched that yet. But to my knowledge, I've never heard Kanye talk about the Jews. We saw what happened to Jay-Z when he said the Jews got control of stuff through credit, and that was labeled anti-Semitic by the ACLU. They came out and was demanding or requiring that, or basically saying that what Jay-Z said was anti-Semitic and it's offensive type of thing. When he just said the Jews own shit because of credit.
All right, let's go bit by bit because I feel like we bite off a lot of it. Y'all think he should apologize? He should have
No.
apologized.
Nope.
Rashid, based on what you hear so far, I don't think you necessarily think the interview.
I did not.
Yeah, I figured.
But if based on what King said, what happened was a lot was taken out of context and not the entire conversation. So if that's the case, then I don't think he should have apologized. If that was the actual conversation that was had.
Don't mistake me. Like though I understand people like the Minister Farrakhan is one of those people that for the longest time has been labeled homophobic, anti-Semitic, and all of that. And I'm not here to disagree or say I agree or not, because when you listen to some of the stuff, if you saying white people are devils, it's pretty. And even though he doesn't mean it literally, he means it metaphorically. When you look at the actions that white people have done throughout history and stuff like that, that is kind of comparable to that of a devil type of thing. Not they're literally the devil, but all of that does get misconstrued and taken out of context, because it's much more fun to say Farrakhan just hates white people and he calling white people the devil. But a lot of shit Farrakhan says like that can be interpreted in certain ways to be anti-Semitic, because he does talk about the black people being the true Jews, talking about that whole ideology that in itself people feel is anti-Semitic and offensive, because you're trying to diminish Jews, the European Jews, I guess, of their claim to the Jewish title. And to me, it's something that I haven't done enough research into, but to me, it's interesting theories, the whole black Hebrew Israelite thing. But once you mention any of all of that,
Okay, I still try to find out if he should apologize for Woods or not.
he shouldn't apologize. In my opinion, he shouldn't apologize.
Yeah, but we had get yours first. So I'm trying to get the Woods.
I mean, yeah, it's a tricky situation because I don't know, man. I really don't know.
What exactly was his apology?
That he
Anybody know? What he specifically apologized for?
some long-winded fuck about how he
He basically was saying how he's uneducated, potentially on the topics and stuff, and he, like I said,
he wasn't making statements. He was more asking questions or some fuck like that.
And he don't have no malice intentions. He has no problem against Jews or any other race, culture, religion, like denomination of people type of thing. It's just a conversation he was having. He might have been misinformed, and as a result, he has a new episode of Canon's Class that is coming. Canon's Class, the name of his podcast. He has one coming with a rabbi, I assume, a person from a Jewish scholar, I assume. I don't know all the details, but he been teasing little previews and stuff of sitting down next to some Jewish person, and so that's part, I assume, of his apology tour and his cleanup campaign.
So, I want to enable a conspiracy theory.
Go right ahead.
Okay, so this is not nothing I hear.
45, by the way.
Okay, let me just say this quick. This is just something that I had just think of there just now. Could this possibly be the higher powers slowly starting to kill off Nick Cannon for still doing the Dr. Serby documentary?
No,
to me,
not
it's
really.
pretty.
Okay.
It's like that is something, but to me, it's pretty clear cut. Like you
Yeah,
speak about the
the
Jews,
Jews,
you get like
they have a
this
lot
is what
of
happens
political. Yeah, they have a lot of political powers, especially
Just
the.
political? Bruh.
No,
Them
no,
fucking
but
states.
yeah,
But
but I
this
mean,
video probably gonna get taken down now because of this conversation. Just letting y'all know,
no,
like this is a real risk.
yeah, the group that you just mentioned there a minute ago, King. They have a
ACLU.
lot. Yes, they have a lot of power
I
in
didn't
Saint
realize
And
Louis.
I saw a meme that was saying Charlemagne. They was calling for Charlemagne to apologize. The thing is about it, I
I didn't
even feel a little bit of
wait. Give context to that. I didn't see this. Charlamagne to apologize for.
because Charlemagne on the rumor report or the whatever when they was
Mm-hmm.
reporting on what happened with Nick Cannon situation, Charlemagne gave his opinion and there's a quote that going around. He basically saying like, I hate it had to be him. Nick is a nice guy and all of that, but the Jews have a lot of power and is one of those things where he wish black people had the same type of thing where if people say some racist shit about us, we could get
Oh,
some
yeah.
action happen.
He was talking about that on the Brilliant Idiots too.
Yeah, and I saw a meme because I googled after because I was like, who is calling for Charlemagne to apologize for this statement? But I couldn't find no other corroborating article, so this was just this one Facebook page that seemed like somebody is calling for Charlemagne to apologize based on that statement. But if that has any legitimacy to it, I feel it's ridiculous. Like if you Google what Charlemagne actually said, it really wasn't nothing. He was just saying, I would wish black people could have the kind of power that the Jews seem to have, where, like I said, with the Jay-Z example, that line that Jay-Z said in that song, in my opinion, is no way offensive. But it references the Jews and talking about power. And the problem with it is that it kind of helps to perpetuate the theory that the Jews have a lot of power and they're controlling things nefariously. And like when you get into the Zionist conspiracies and what all going on with the Israel working in consort with the Illuminati and the Rothschilds and world banking families and shit like that
Bring
to
it back,
control the world.
bring it back.
But this is the explanation. I'm explaining why this is why people feel it's offensive. If you say the Jews have power,
Yeah,
because they feel it's tying into all of these long-standing theories that people have been talking about and alleging about the Jews and given as a reason for their persecution throughout history, whether it was Hitler or whoever else had an issue with the Jews. Like this is why the ACLU and other Jewish rights organizations has come down so hard anytime Jews are mentioned in a negative light
yeah.
or
Well,
Jews are made fun of in some way that
I
wasn't by a Jew, like in Hollywood.
to go to Charlemagne's point. If he wants black people to have power in the states, y'all gotta mobilize. That's basically it. Y'all gotta start acting as a unit and start demanding shit as a unit.
Mm.
That doesn't happen. That's the only way. That's the only way black people are going to have some type of say in the states is to mobilize and act as a unit. And
So
right now is the closest that black people in the states has ever mobilized as a unit.
You
But
feel
For the past 20 years.
okay? Yeah,
For
I
the
see
past
that.
20 years. For the past 20 years. Yeah.
Yeah, then.
Because the mobilization stopped when Martin Luther King and
I
Mhm.
disagree, and that's I'm sorry, but that's not true. I assume you're speaking on a broad scale what the mainstream might report about.
no, I'm talking
That might
about
be true.
no, I'm talking about in terms of everybody on the same mindset and trying to achieve the same thing. It hasn't been this way in a long time. People
I
have
agree.
had grievances, but they have not mobilized in mass like they're doing now. That has not happened since Martin Luther King's time period. We have
I
not
still
had that.
disagree with that. I think I guess I assume you're referring to the George Floyd protest, and to me, in our discussion of that, that is something that we are during that discussion we mentioned all the different contributing factors as to why this protest was so large, considering it happened during Corona, majority of the people not working out the jobs and all thing, which allowed for there to be this mass. Also, the fact that many of these people wasn't even black people, because black people been marching, been protesting, whether it's the Million Man March and all these things. People like Farrakhan been organizing, getting millions of black people mobilized and together. I understand you might not be aware, but it doesn't make your statement true. That's all I'm saying. Black people have been gathering, we've been mobilized, we've been organizing in different factions, if you're talking about America, whether it's the NAACP, the Urban League, different underground grassroots organizations in the whatchamacallit, there's New Black Panthers and all of these types of things.
King, I'm hearing to what you're saying, but again, I'm telling you that it's, even if you exclude all the white people, black people in the United States were not mobilizing the way they should have been mobilizing prior to COVID. They were not, because it was not just because a lot of them is like, it's not in my city, it's not something I have to think about. Because it was just everybody's mind state. You understand?
Your statement in a sense that, to me, in general, black people have been divided ever since we integrated. Yeah. We got lost and confused ever since we integrated, because before integration, we knew who we united amongst the common enemy. We were all treated bad. We all ain't had shit, in contrast to the white folks. And ever since we integrated, we got confused because some black people find completely integrating fully into white society and letting go of anything that might be any semblance of a black identity. And then there's other black people who trying to hold on and fight for black rights and stuff and all of these types of things. So there's always going to be a divide ever since integration, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Same way you see now, there's many people on St. Martin who saying, okay, we need the Dutch to come and take over St. Martin. Well, there's other St. Martin people who can afford independence, and let's be fight for St. Martin people rights, which happens to be majority black. But there's some black people who completely fine with Dutch masters. But we getting on a tangent.
Okay, so I think.
Wait, hold on. To bring it back to the whole cancel culture topic, a while back as well, there was a lot of, and I think this was like an effect of the whole cancel culture thing, and how cancel culture have people kind of scared. But there were some like voice actors or actors in general stepping down from certain roles.
Yeah, the chick from Big Mouth.
That's one of them. Yeah, I think the person who voice acted Cleveland from Family Guy. I don't know if that was confirmed, but I did see that somewhere else as well.
Yeah, I saw that too.
I remember hearing some actress was stepping down from playing a trans character, and different examples like that. What are y'all opinions on that? Like, should they step down, or should they still be able to play these roles?
Wait, I
to avoid cancel culture.
What
they were stepping down for?
From certain roles. Oh, so give context.
With the Big Mouth situation, for example, the character Lily, I think is her name, but she's a biracial chick on the show. The chick with the braces, she's the main female character pretty much.
Black and Jewish.
Well, you don't watch Big Mouth? No. All right, that's sad. Big Mouth is a great show. Yeah, but anyway, the chick, she's black, she's biracial, she's black and Jewish. The person I was playing, a white Jewish person, she is now deciding she feels she's taking up spaces that could potentially be filled by black actors or black voice actors, so she wants to step down and acknowledge her privilege, check her privilege type of thing, even though the show is already 2-3 seasons in. They already had 2 seasons for show. Yeah. But you was fine collecting your paychecks for those 2 seasons and all of that, and now when it's Black Lives Matter and you feel like doing some symbolic shit that really don't mean nothing, you want to step down. No. But that's my opinion on it. But
how would it not mean anything if she
didn't think about it,
and then she put?
I understand. Now there's a reason that you might be triggered to have the thought. I give her that could be a genuine thing. But to me, I just feel this is very much like the Aunt Jemima shit. Like this because I like the character Lily. I like the character with the voice actor.
Where Jemima come from? Used to me.
Yeah, like. I get what you're saying
to begin with, but I don't know the whole thing.
I get what you're saying, King, but it would have been something if the casting agency, the people that cast her, that put her in that role to be like, you're the perfect role for this, if they were the ones that tried to fix it. But she was the one that did it, so we have to give her that, because she was not the one that made the decision to put her in that role to begin with. She just said, no, you know what? So I give her a props for that, because
I don't feel like
I
that.
just think she shouldn't have stepped down. To me, it's
Yeah,
unnecessary.
yeah, but you see that
Like,
right there. I don't agree with either. How is it unnecessary if that going to leave rule?
because these are not the changes that we're really looking for. I get, yes,
Yeah,
it's better than
but
nothing.
she doesn't have a lot of power.
Yes, like that, in the sense that it is worth something. It's not to completely dismiss. I'll agree with y'all on that. Like, it is something.
I mean,
But
yeah, it's
Yeah,
not changing legislation or something like that, but she still
that's
giving
what I mean.
to another black person.
yeah.
Like,
Perfect example. Let's talk about Kanye West for a bit.
Oh God.
The woman that freed, quote
Harriet
unquote, free.
Tubman,
Yeah, he said she didn't really free the slaves because he just took the slaves from one master and brought it into the corporate masters.
I personally don't want to comment on that because I saw the full clip, like I said earlier. But go through
Yeah,
both.
I like if you just take it into context, like she just from her standpoint took people from what she could have done and brought her in what she thought was the best situation for them at that point. That's basically what this woman did. She's not black, but what she did was she doesn't have a lot of power, but she's like, yo, what can I do personally? I can do a lot. I'm not an executive. I don't have really much say, but this is the least I can do. Like, there's not a lot of people would.
Like, that's why I say I do agree with you
Yeah.
on that point. It is something. It's not that it should be completely dismissed or disregarded. It is
Yeah,
something.
because
But
that could be a ripple effect. Some another black actor get it. He end up getting other those for other people, for other black actor. I mean, voice actors
I'm
and stuff like that. You know.
I'm never mad at black actors' voice. Black people in general
Yeah,
getting
bro.
opportunities. I'm not mad at that in
The fact
general.
that you had said is unnecessary.
I
That
know,
Yeah,
I know.
I think like
That's why I take back and retract, and I agree with y'all. Like, it is
the
something. It is.
one of the best ones I saw was one of the CEOs of Reddit. Like, he removed himself from the board, completely from the company, and he was like, yeah, hire one of our up and coming black um employees to be part of the board.
you see, this is where I kind of have a problem with this whole um just promoting people because they black. Like that. While I do want to see more black people in positions of power and stuff like that, I kind of feel that diminishes the work that could possibly be done in general. If I see where I'm coming from, I know
But
if I
kinda,
explain myself
Yeah,
properly.
but
my only pushback on that would be:
yeah,
are you
here's
aware
the
of how
yeah
many
yeah yeah
black people have been overlooked and not gotten
yeah.
any positions just because
No,
they're
no,
black?
in that
Whereas,
regard,
like, there's
no,
mad black people more qualified, but then it's like, oh, your needs come true, and here's the
no,
job, and you
in
the
that,
supervisor.
in that regard, yes, I completely agree. If you have a black person that's just as qualified, or if not more,
Working
then
20 years there at this company. I was literally just having this conversation with one of my panels about this happening in Holland. He was telling me about a Dutch dude. He live here and think he's more qualified than some of the people in higher positions than him, in the sense that their jobs, they come into him for help to finish up certain things. And it's like, but y'all got this high pay and salary and shit, and y'all still coming to me for help. Like, I'm doing y'all work type of shit. And this is what happens a lot of time. And his frustration, because it's like, y'all just come. I know way more than y'all, and y'all get this position type of thing.
no,
That happens
I understand.
so much times.
I
Though.
But
understand.
that happens a lot, and I think that's why the CEO also said, like, specifically, like, look at someone that's like really up and coming, that's really in like
Like not just a random black
not
person.
just yeah like
Hmm.
yeah
Know what I'm talking about.
someone yeah the
Yeah.
Within your company, yeah, I'm
yeah
sure you got black people within your company in a lower level position that been there, that probably capable of being a supervisor or maybe a manager or something, maybe even executive positions and all of that. Like, move some of them up type of thing. Of course, if they want to, I guess, and all of that.
and
But
honestly, I don't think he didn't do it with already someone in mind to begin with. I don't think he just did it to me. Yeah, y'all choose. I think he already had someone in mind when he did that move to begin with.
I mean, somebody as a CEO that would make sense. Like,
Yeah.
like you have a successor before you just completely think. I hope he would have some kind of logic with that.
But yeah,
But I don't know. There was actually certain questions and aspects I wanted to ask with this whole cancel culture thing. But I feel like we could use that for like a part 2 or 4 next time.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
cancel culture just blends well with other topics as well. So you could have those
There's a lot to
questions.
discuss, type of thing. Like, there's
yeah,
a lot of places you could take this conversation. That's the
yeah.
point.
Any wrap ups? Any closing statements?
Well,
Um,
No.
for me, it's just like it's
I was
cancel.
trying to get back to Rashid question, but I kind of forgot Rashid initial question that triggered this whole
Right,
tangent that we went on.
So
boy.
it was about just people. I give the examples of the actors, but people essentially stepping down from roles
Oh, I,
Mm-hmm,
I,
mm-hmm.
I find it's cool.
We
for the sake of
Just should I answer that again? I mean, if they okay with not having that check and all that, even more kudos for them, more respect.
yeah,
But
okay.
like
but
taking away
So
your security for
is that
someone else's benefit is not something easy to do.
hmm
Not a lot of people would do that.
hmm
But do
okay?
y'all not feel it's like in the conversation we was having like that it's somewhat symbolic because that was the main reason as
Yeah.
to why I initially said it's unnecessary.
Yeah, for
Like
me,
I kind of pushed back against her stepping
yeah,
down type of thing.
for me, it really depends. It's a person by person basis. You have to look at a person and look at the history of the person and see like if the person really has nothing to gain, like or like losing their job really affects them that much and they still do it. For example, like if they're not someone in a high position or mind you whatever, if they do something that really would affect them, yeah, cool, because a lot of people would not do it. If it's a CEO and he does drops a small little bone or some fuck like that, and there's not really any type of change, like it's the same thing with like, for example, like Nike or when BLM happened, like they just put a
That's what I'm
picture.
saying.
That's
Because to me,
different.
that's what it felt
Yes.
like in the from the perspective of. To me, I feel like what happens if because she is not the casting director, she's not the director or executive producer type thing.
But that's
What happens if they just replace her with another white chick?
yeah, but then it's
that's
on
not her thing.
but then it's on them, you understand?
That's not her decision. She
Yeah.
I
gets
know,
paid.
I know, but I mean, like in some ways, I don't know.
I get what you're saying, but then you have your grievances has to be on
The company, not
the
not
company, not with
Hmm.
the person making the kind gesture. Understand?
because
So
with
Because
the,
it's something that different black people been talking about for a while.
Mm.
Because like yeah, I mentioned Cleveland and stuff. There's been mad examples throughout history of like the
Um,
black character on a TV show being voiced by white actors and or being even written by them, so their personalities like you don't
stereo.
even know
super
like the
stereotypes. Yeah.
experiences. Yeah, it's
but
like very problematic type of stuff.
you had want to say something?
Huh? Me?
Want to say something there? Cause like
Yeah,
at the
yeah, yeah.
halfway
Yeah,
already.
we gotta.
Yeah. So y'all think because this is kind of like when I see people step down from certain roles like this, it just make me think. Okay, so only members of the LGBTQ community can act as the LGBTQ community now, or only people of color can voice act for characters.
I assume that's where he was taking it, and like to me, it's a tricky situation.
It
Honestly,
is.
it's a tricky situation where I see the validity in the representation argument, where people say representation matters. So having those people play those roles or voice those roles, it's important. But at the same time, it's acting.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
There's a fine line. I mean,
Will
look,
Smith
if you're
is not a
looking,
doctor, but or Will Smith is not a
yeah,
boxer. Like or whatever roles he played in throughout his
but
movies. Like
the thing is, there's a fine line with it, with it, right? Like, for example, if you're looking for an Asian actress in a movie, for example,
yes,
what's it?
don't put Charlize Theron or
Yeah.
whoever it was.
Or,
Like don't put her
Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett
Like
Johansson.
you
Yeah.
couldn't find any Asian top
True.
actress. Like
Oh yeah, but
there's
with Michelle, that was fucking
yeah,
idiot.
That white
there's
specifically.
cause like you could have
As much as I love to see Scarlett,
yeah.
that was just not the move.
Like
It was ridiculous.
Like if it's a gay character, like cool if you got a gay character acted, but you could still have someone portray someone like being disabled or something like that.
Modern Family, great example. The one who was the overtly gay
Gay
one,
is straight.
he was straight. Like to me, that shit is dope. Barney on whatchamacallit, How I Met Your Mother. Barney is gay. Cam is straight.
Oh,
Yeah.
The other one is gay. Mitchell is actually gay.
Gay.
Cam is straight.
Yeah.
Barney from How I Met Your Mother
Yo,
is gay in real
yo.
life.
I ain't gonna lie, right? I ain't gonna lie.
Should Barney not be able to play Barney? I mean,
This
Neil Patrick Harris be able to play
But
Barney?
no, but that's what I mean. Like I think where the divide comes, it's when it's more racial thing because in the U.S. specifically, white people tend to get most of the roles. There's not a lot of black roles to begin with. There's not a lot
Gods
of
of
black
Egypt with a bunch of white people.
Yeah. So because there's already not a lot of roles for people of color to have, not just minorities to have in general, especially in the movie industry. Like when you have those roles, don't give them also to people that get most of the roles. That's where the problem is. I think if it was a situation where everybody had equal um representation or opportunity, yeah, then this will not be a problem. But because it's not like that, when the opportunity arises for a minority to play a role and you don't give the minority, then it's like, no, now you really just, you're not even trying to hide it anymore, you understand? And I think that's where this conversation is coming from.
I feel like that was pretty well articulated. Like to me, my main, and I agree with that completely. My main issues is just like we said, Scarlett Johansson. It's supposed to be an Asian. Just like it's not that hard to find an Asian actor. Like
That's blatant whitewashing.
Yeah.
don't cast Ben Affleck to play Black Lightning or something. Like don't do that. Come on. But I think with all of that, I think I guess we could wrap up.
Yeah, it was a heated, fun / ranting. It felt like an old podcast because Khalifa
Yeah,
wasn't here. We didn't have
was a little unorganized. Was a little unorganized at certain points. Hopefully the listeners didn't like suffer and lose too much. And
honestly, I think this was the first time we had a debate where it was, or lack of a better term, a heated discussion where it was actually split even.
Yeah.
Like it was a Rashid on the next side. I honestly feel that a lot of the listeners chose sides at that point.
Yeah, pretty much.
But
with
listeners,
that being
we
said,
don't have no plugs to get out of the way. Like all of that was done. So, last final thoughts? Anything?
Nah, we just
we good.
Let's not go through that again, because we will end up in a whole other conversation knowing this podcast.
Yeah.
Alrighty then.
If you
So
want to talk about Kanye West, we could do that.
Stop it.
No, honestly, this man, you know what? Not Sean. Stop it.
I want to get to it.
maybe that could be the off-air conversation. Maybe that could be the off-air conversations. But let's wrap this up. So people, I hope you enjoyed the podcast, and the people that made it to the end and stick with us all the way through, make sure to like, subscribe. I know I said it in the beginning, but I'm gonna say it again.
Yes.
Like, share, subscribe, tell all your friends about the Link Up podcast. Tune in on YouTube, Spotify, whatever platform you feel like tuning in on.
I'm gonna start to do this in the beginning, but shout out to all the people that have been newly subscribed. And that going to subscribe because of this episode or other episodes. Like, we really do appreciate it.
100%.
We seeing we getting somewhat of a cult following. I don't know why. Somehow you come to watch me. I don't know why, but with the rest of them and them got other shit going on. So either way, we appreciate it.
Hopefully, I ain't turning off our listeners. I don't know if we have Jewish listeners, but hopefully.
I was just gonna say, I kind of made a statement there that I kind of had to retract there real quick. But hopefully, they just bypass that one and they didn't hear me. But with that being said, I don't know who's going to do it. Woods, King, one are you? Oh, actually, King first, then Woods.
We'll see y'all the next time we link up. That's what you waiting on, right?
Okay, hey,
Woods, do you think? You could close it. You could close it.
Okay, before we finish, I mean, we're ready to finish, but before we leave y'all, I'm gonna leave y'all with a little treat at the end. I'm gonna let y'all listen to my song. And for those that watch this after the 24th, listen to it on Spotify and all streaming services. Yes, Woods is whoring himself right now. So
you could have just said he was promoting yourself.
It's a plug. It's a plug.
It doesn't feel like I'm promoting myself. I'm whoring myself out on these interwebs.
There was like a plethora of no,
I'm whoring myself.
You.
Okay. So with that being said, I hope y'all enjoy the song, and see y'all the next time we link up.
Bless.
very best. That no one never was. I wanna be the very best.
Me and Squirtle came to fuck the whole scene up. Your girl named Misty, she craving the Steelux. Man so pretty, she paid for the meat up. Wet all over, she needed a detox. Water gone to her face, that's what she wants. Gotta catch 'em all, that's a must. Squirt, bubble like soap, make it. Now make it bubble like soap, make it. Squirt, bubble like soap, make it. Shall I make the kitty? Squirt, bubble like soap, make it. Now make it bubble like soap, make it. Squirt, bubble like soap, make it. Shall I make the and a girlfriend are looking for trouble? That's double. Double the mood, double the hustle. Double like asking 2 shots at the bar. Or double the rockets that need to lift off.
They're blasting off again.
They a duo, they go everywhere together. We dog trio to my place due to bad weather. Squirt, bubble like soap, make it. Now make it bubble like soap, make it. Squirt, bubble like soap, make it. Shall I make the kitty? Squirt, bubble like soap, make it. Now make it bubble like soap, make it. Squirt, bubble like soap, make it. Shall I make me a licky to your Pikachu? Let me add the licky to your Pikachu. Let me add the licky to your Pikachu. Let me add the licky to your Pikachu. Let me add the licky to Squirt, bubble like soap, make it. Now make it bubble like soap, make it. Squirt, bubble like soap, make it. Shall I make the kitty? Squirt, bubble like soap, make it. Now make it bubble like soap, make it. Squirt, bubble like soap, make it.
Shall I make the kitty?
I wanna be the very best. Like no one never. I wanna be the very best. Like no one never was. I wanna be the very best. Like no one never. I wanna be the very best. Like no one never was.